This is the true story of a man who left his homeland and family behind to work in Saudi Arabia, all for the sake of giving his wife, children, and entire family a better future. In an effort to help his wife learn the Quran, he hired a religious teacher, Qari, to visit his home and teach her. But the very person he trusted with his honor betrayed him. That Qari crossed all limits and his wife ended up pregnant. What happened next was shocking. Watch the video till the end to know the full story. After hearing it, you too will be left speechless. The story begins in the year 2012. Waqas was a simple, honest, and hard-working man. He married his cousin Nasheen, someone he had known since childhood. The relationship started off well. Waqas had big dreams, so he wanted to make his wife happy, give his children a good life, and support his parents. To fulfill those dreams, he moved to Saudi Arabia a few months after the wedding. Soon after, God blessed them with the son. When Waqas heard the news, he wept tears of joy. He named the boy Abdul Rahman and started sending money regularly to Nasheen so she wouldn't feel the lack of anything. One day, Nasheen said to Waqas on a call, "I want to learn the Quran. I have time at home and want to gain some religious knowledge." Waqas was delighted and immediately arranged for his friend Jamil, a Qari and seemingly pious man, to come teach her. Jamil was an old friend of Waqas, someone who appeared religious and trustworthy. Waqas trusted him blindly and left his wife's religious education in his hands. The Qari began visiting daily, and Waqas continued paying him regularly. In the beginning, everything seemed fine. Nasheen learned the Quran while observing proper modesty, and the Qari would come, teach her, pray, and leave. But slowly, things started to change. A lonely house, a young woman, a husband thousands of miles away. These are the perfect conditions for a sin to take root. Conversations turned to laughter, laughter turned to friendship, and friendship crossed all boundaries. Nasheen, who was far from her husband, and Jamil, who was looking for the right opportunity, found themselves on a dangerous path. Within a few months, the relationship turned into something sinful, one that shook the foundation of Waqas's life. Eventually, Nasheen discovered she was pregnant. But this pregnancy didn't bring happiness or hope. It brought fear, shame, and destruction. This was not Waqas's child, and that was the biggest betrayal. Nasheen was devastated. She desperately wanted to end the pregnancy. She prayed, took medication, and tried everything to end it, but nothing worked. 7 months passed. Her pregnancy became visible. Her movements changed. She was out of breath, and it was now impossible to hide. One day, her mother noticed something and directly asked her. Nasheen initially made excuses but eventually confessed everything. Her mother was shocked, heartbroken, and furious. "What have you done? This will burn the whole family down," she said, trembling with anger, grief, and fear. Together, they made one last desperate attempt. Through a contact, they found a hospital far from the city, one known for handling such cases quietly, as long as they were paid. They went secretly, without telling anyone, paid the doctors, and explained the situation. The doctors warned, "At 7 months, this is extremely dangerous." But Nasheen's mother insisted, "We don't care. We just want to end this at any cost." An operation was performed. The baby was aborted. The official file said it was a tumor removal. They returned home quietly, believing the matter was over and no one would ever find out. But the truth doesn't stay hidden for long. A few days later, Waqas's father heard something about a major operation on his daughter-in-law. Suspicious, he began investigating. He found the hospital and asked about the nature of the surgery. The receptionist responded, it was for a stomach tumor. Waqas's father was shocked. "But this is a gynecology hospital," he said. "They only handle deliveries and women's cases. They don't treat tumors here." The receptionist fell silent. Suspicion deepened. A scene erupted. The doctors were called. Under pressure, they showed the real file. It stated, 7-month pregnancy abortion on family request. Waqas's father was devastated. He collapsed onto a chair, eyes filled with tears. This wasn't just his son's wound, it was the entire family's shame. He returned home and called Waqas, telling him everything. Waqas was silent, leaning against the wall. Finally, he said, "Abu, I'm coming home." In 2017, Waqas returned to Pakistan. A storm brewed in his heart. He tried talking to Nasheen, but every conversation turned into a fight. Nasheen portrayed herself as a victim, saying she had been manipulated, that it wasn't her fault. But Waka's heart had turned to stone. The trust was dead. One day, in a fit of rage, Waka uttered the three words that ended everything: "I divorce you." Nasheen fell silent. Her mother screamed. The whole family wept. But Waka was beyond emotion. His trust had been murdered. That marriage ended. A few weeks later, he returned to Saudi Arabia, but he was no longer the same Waka. His heart, soul, and faith had been shattered. Nasheen went back to live with her parents. Waka spent some time in Pakistan but was burdened with grief. The family lived in silence. His parents were ashamed. Siblings avoided eye contact. Neighbors whispered. Waka packed his bags and went back to Saudi Arabia. He resumed work. Life moved on, but the emptiness inside, the broken trust, the anguish never faded. He lost all connection with Pakistan. But Pakistan hadn't forgotten him. When Waka and Nasheen married, their nikah marriage contract included some financial commitments: gold jewelry, a house, a plot, and maintenance. These were her legal and Islamic rights, a part of her mahr. After the divorce, Nasheen's family filed a legal case in court. Meanwhile, Waka worked in Saudi Arabia, unaware that legal notices had begun arriving at his home. His siblings knew, but they chose to stay silent. They kept asking him for money by sahab, but when trouble came, they turned their backs. The case dragged on. In the end, Nasheen's side won. The court issued a legal order requiring Waka to pay several lakhs. If he returned to Pakistan, he would be arrested and jailed until the amount was paid. Waka had no idea for 5 years. Then in 2022, an acquaintance called him. "Brother, there's a legal judgment against you. Talk to a lawyer immediately." Waka contacted a lawyer from Saudi Arabia. The lawyer reviewed the file and confirmed Nasheen's family had submitted all the clauses from the marriage contract, and the court ruled in their favor. Waka now legally owed several lakhs. Tired and broken, Waka asked, "What if I come back to Pakistan?" The lawyer replied, "You will be arrested immediately and won't be released until you pay the full amount." Now it's 2025. Waka is still in Saudi Arabia. Every Friday, every Eid, every celebration, every sorrow he spends alone, locked in a small room. One day, sitting quietly, he whispered, "I made just one mistake here, broken bar. I trusted a friend of that same Qari Jamil, who I thought was a man of religion,